Hi, I hope everyone is doing well. In today's video, we will be going over volume. Make sure you have a pen and paper ready, take down some notes and stick around to the end as there are some questions for you to attempt. And if you want to find your way back to the channel, make sure to subscribe so you can stay up to date with everything related to your Maths GCSE. Let's get started. So what is a volume? The volume is the amount of space that a three-dimensional, so 3D object takes up. Here we have some examples of three-dimensional objects. The first one is a cube, the second one is a cuboid, and the final one is a triangular prism. So it's always good to know the names of these objects. What is a prism? A prism is a 3D shape. So it's a 3D shape that has a constant cross section. So if you were to cut the shape at any point, it will stay constant throughout. What you also need to remember is that when we are working in volume, the unit is either millimeters cubed, centimeters cubed, or meters cubed. So there is a simple formula for us to use to work out the volume. So the volume of a prism, and we went through what a prism is on the last slide, is the area of the cross section times by the depth. So here we have two prisms. What it means by the area of the cross section is basically this front face. So what you need to do is work out the area of the cross section, which is this front face, and then you will times it by the depth. The depth is how deep the shape goes. To work out the area of this, you will do length times width and then times it by the depth. For this, you work out the area of the triangle, which is base times height divided by 2, and then you will times it by the depth. So let's go through some examples. We need to remember that the volume of a prism is the area of the cross section times by depth. So what we want to do is work out the area of the cross section. So we want to work out the area of this front shape, and then we'll times it by the depth, or how deep the shape goes. So the area of this cross section is 7 times 9, which is equal to 63 centimeters squared. What we'll do now to work out the volume, you will do 63 times by the depth, which is 3. You get a final answer of 189 centimeters cubed. Remember to include the correct units. Here is another example for us to go through. We have this triangular prism. Again, what we need to do is work out the area of the cross section and then times it by the depth. So the area of this cross section is this triangle at the front. To work out the area of a triangle, you do base times height divided by 2. So it's 11 times by the perpendicular height, which is 8, divided by 2, which equals 44 centimeters squared. You need to remember sometimes they'll give you lengths which are not required. So make sure you're using the perpendicular height to work out the area of the triangle. Next, what we will do is we'll times this value by the depth, which is 20 centimeters. You will do 44 times 20, which equals 880 centimeters cubed. So the volume for this shape is 880 centimeters cubed. So here is another example for us to go through. We have this object and we are trying to work out the volume. The volume is the cross section times by the depth. So in this example, the cross section is a trapezium. To work out the area of a trapezium, you do A plus B divided by 2 times by H. So A in this example is 6, B is 10. So you do 6 plus 10. Divide it by 2 and then times it by h. So 6 plus 10 is 16, divided by 2 is equal to 8, and 8 times 7 is equal to 56 centimeters squared. What you will do now, as we have the area of the cross section, is times it by the depth. So to find out the volume, it will be 56 times by the depth, which equals 16. That gives us a final answer of 896 centimeters cubed. Here are 2 questions for you to attempt. Please pause the video, have a go, and we'll go through the answers on the next slide. Hopefully you had a chance to attempt these questions. Let's go through the answers. So we are trying to work out the volume for these shapes. As you should know that the volume is the cross section times by the depth. So we need to work out the cross section, which is this front triangle. To work out the area of a triangle, it is base times height divided by 2. So 6 times 5 divided by 2, which is equal to 15. What we will do next is 15 times by the depth. The depth is 12 meters. So it's 15 times 12, which equals 180, and you have to remember the units. It is meters cubed. The next question, again, we are trying to work out the cross section and then we'll times it by the depth. The cross section is a trapezium. So what you should know that the area of a trapezium is A plus B divided by 2 times by the perpendicular height. A is 7, B is 9. So 7 plus 9, which equals 16. 16 divided by 2 is equal to 8. 8 times 3 is equal to 24. So the area of this trapezium is 24. Then you do 24 times by the depth. The depth of this is 10. 24 times 10 gives us an answer of 240 centimeters cubed. Here is a summary page of what we have gone through today. We have gone through what the volume is. We have figured out what a prism is. We know that the volume of a prism is the area of the cross section times by the depth, and the units that we use are in cubed. I hope you have been able to benefit, and if you have, please share with others so they can also benefit. Hopefully I'll see everyone safe and sound for the next one, and as always, take care of yourselves.